have to reframe the unexpected as a gift. So we have to look at the unexpected as a mirror, a compass, a catalyst. That unexpected shift happens. Okay, what am I going to do now? This is the starting point. Like, why did this happen to me? But instead, think about, what is this revealing about me?
Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I'm your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Corlin, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl.
You look great. Okay, hello again. Welcome back to another episode of Lead Like a Girl. I'm Jamie, and I'm hosting tonight with my two besties, Jessica and Corlin. Hi, guys.
Hello. Happy Monday.
Yeah, yes. And
are we supposed to say happy Monday, or actually this airs on Wednesday? Do we pretend?
I like happy.
We'll say happy fill in the blank day of the week.
I like happy Monday.
Happy day. Can it just be happy day? This is quite a Monday. Like, this has I've been traveling all day long, as you guys know. Just got to North Carolina. Rental car place was out of cars. I got dropped off. My Uber took me to the wrong hotel. And then I walked to the right hotel, and I was telling the guy at the counter that I went to the wrong hotel first. And he looks at my ID and he goes, "Oh, you don't have a reservation here either." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm just kidding." Like, that was quick. That was good. I'm like, really? So anyway, it was all good. But I'm like 3 hours.
You gotta appreciate clever humor. That's probably one of my favorite character traits. What am I trying to say?
Yeah. I love quick.
One word.
Yeah, I love quick wit. I know we traveled a couple weeks ago. I'm traveling this week. You guys have been traveling. Tell me, anything interesting happened on your two trips? Both of your trips?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Wow.
Look at that, Blaine.
For those of you who aren't watching us, Jessica's taking a seductive sip out of a golden chalice.
It's just a joke.
Maybe it wasn't that seductive.
Right. But yeah, I was in Vegas. It was lots of fun.
Yeah, you had fun. How about you, Cor? Did you pick up those germs on the airplane?
I told you, you might hear a little nasal action, but I refuse to claim that I'm sick. I'm just feeling not 100% right now.
I love that. And I was in Vegas for almost a week, and I did not gamble $1.
Really? Do you gamble normally? Do you like gambling?
No, I'm not. No, but I'll take $20 and say, "Hey, here's $20. I'm putting in a slot machine." I was there for work, and it just didn't happen. And for someone who smoked for so many years, every time I wanted to sit down, there was someone sitting near the seat I wanted to sit, just full of smoke, and I was just so disgusted. My eyes were burning, and I'm like, "How did I do that for so many years? It's crazy."
And that's not even just, you were just breathing in their secondhand. You were like, back in the day, you were like ingesting that
getting the
full force, right?
Yeah.
Firsthand.
I sure did.
Yeah.
That's another episode.
Yeah, I don't gamble really, because I think if I knew some more like the card games, I probably would, but I don't know any. So I just feel like I'm just pushing buttons, and I'm like, well, I don't know.
I'm totally the person that brings up, I'm going to bring the same as you, Jess. I'm going to bring like $20-$40 or something and just chalk it up as entertainment. And if I can make this last, have some conversation, and maybe come back with my $40 or lose it, like, I'm fine. But I'm definitely not a high roller like gambling. I even, like, when I lose, even if I decide I'm going to lose $40 and I lose $40, I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
And it's not even, I mean, it's not like dollars. It's not much.
But I'm going to also make sure that I drink $40 while I'm there. So there's that. I didn't lose.
You know what I do like to do is play bingo.
That is, I haven't played bingo in years.
I normally don't, but we went into there's a brewery that has the best pizza in our town, and we went in there a few weeks ago, and they were doing bingo, and we were like, Brad was like, we're not gonna play. I'm like, let's just play. He won like 3 times, and and all these people were like cheering him on, and he's like, who knew I was really good at bingo? And I'm like thinking, there's no skill to me. Like, it's not like you have to have a skill for bingo. They just call out the numbers.
Did he bring his own dauber?
No, not definitely not that professional. So, well, I just want to say thanks to everybody listening. Our leadlikeagirllab.com is our website. We've got a bunch of things presenting on all our social medias. We've got short clips. We've got our episodes. We still have merchandise on our website. We just really appreciate everybody following us along, and actually all of our guests. I think we've had some really phenomenal guests lately, and I personally appreciate that, and I think a lot of other people appreciate all the awesome input that they all have. So thanks everybody for listening. Today, we are going to talk about a book that I read recently. It's called The Gift of the Unexpected. So the actual title is Discovering Who You Were Meant to Be When Life Goes Off Plan. The premise of this book, so I actually purchased it. Gosh, I've probably had it for a couple of years because there's been a lot of transition in my life, and I kind of bought it for myself as just something to help guide me through some things. But a big premise of the book is the woman who wrote the book she had a baby who has Down syndrome. So it was an unexpected twist in her life. And she talks a lot about all the kind of the challenges that she faced with this, but then it also brings in quite a lot of faith and just different things, kind of a faith-based way of getting through some of the challenges. So there were a lot of really good excerpts in the book that got me thinking about all those ways that, everybody has this. Everybody has unexpected twists and turns in their life. But I wanted to talk about some of them that we've had, but then also some tools on how to get through it. Some of this comes from her and some other books that I've read too. So as our listeners know, we want to empower everyday women with our stories. So I have an icebreaker question for you. So tell me about a time in your life when you felt like everything was on track and then suddenly it wasn't.
I feel like everybody already knows what I'm going to say because it's kind of that same story that I love replaying over and over again. But, of course, I thought direct buy was going to be my everything, all things. I'm a planner, so I kind of had the rest of my life planned. I was working towards something very specific, owning that business in California, and so close. So close. And I feel like I had everything so planned out, and I'm still a planner, but that taught me something about planning. And it's like all the details, like seriously, like all the details, where I wanted to live, what type of house, everything was planned out. And I feel like life just was like, oh, that's so cute. We're not doing that.
That's sweet of you to have that plan.
Right. Yeah. So everything was just kind of flipped upside down suddenly out of nowhere, right? No, never in my wildest dreams did I think that company would go away. Never did I think I would do anything else. So it was definitely just unexpected and very devastating. So I do still plan, but I think that I always hope for the best, but I also expect that things are not always going to go as planned because that's what that taught me.
Yeah. Well, and that was working at the same place for so long too. Like, what's that stat that you change your job 7 times or something like that in a lifetime? That was a long time. Like, working in the same company from 16 or whatever. I mean, you were really young to almost adulthood.
Yeah, almost 20 years.
Everything's new, right? Yeah. What about you, Corlin? Was there ever a time where you felt like things were on track, but then suddenly they weren't on track?
I don't even know if you guys know this story, but my husband and I, when we first dated, I was 22 years old. He's a couple years older than I am, but when we met, it was instantly fell in love with each other, like just absolutely smitten. He's hilarious. He's amazing. He's, he had I don't know, just all the things, like fit, like he had a goatee and muscles, which was my bald guy, goatee, muscles. It was like check, check, check. Love that guy. Yeah. And of course my family loved him and everything. But, we had this one little detail is that when I was 22 years old, I was in a little bit of a state of wonder in terms of my faith. And my husband was absolutely solid man of God, wanted to go on missions trips, wanted to just tell everyone about his faith. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is not me. So it was interesting. We dated for about a year and a half, and he was talking about wanting to go on missions trips. And I was very focused on my career, and I just hadn't really found my faith yet. Anyways, long story short, we ended up breaking up because I just wasn't ready to be the person that I thought that he needed to be. And so we broke up, even though like all signs pointed to like, we should be married, we should be together. Well, fast forward 5 years later, we end up getting a coffee, and we had always been friends in between that 5 years. Like because we never really fought when we were dating the first time. That we just went out for coffee, and he was either dating somebody or I was dating somebody. Well, we met this day, and I was single, he was single, and through this probably 3-4 hour conversation we had at the end, we both looked at each other and just said, I still like you. And I said to him, like, I kind of still like you too. And we might have ended up smooching. And we got engaged 3 months after that. And then we got married like 4 or 5 months after that. So within the year we had gotten married. So I feel like when you're talking about thinking that you have a plan and then it completely derails, sometimes it's still the plan. You just have to, it was just a different sort of plan.
Did you plan on being married by a certain time?
No, not at all. Like it wasn't, I was always, when I was younger, I was never the person that dreamt about being married. I dreamt about being a business person, and kids weren't in the picture. I mean, it's not that I don't like kids. I wasn't that person that dreamt about, I have to have this husband and this many kids. It was just always very career focused. And so,
I like that.
And now happily ever after.
Every day, all the time. Oh, thanks, guys. I love both those stories. I have a couple stats I want to read to you. So there was a quote that was in the book where it was from Brene Brown, and she said, "Owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we'll ever do." And the book goes into a lot of accepting the fact that your plans don't, like you said, Jessica, it's like, that's cute. Your plans, they great to make plans, but they get derailed all the time. Like it's almost impossible to try and figure out a way to keep those, to figure out a way to like avoid it, right? It's just inevitable. There was a really good survey that was in the book, and I wanted to make sure I read it. That in 2019, I don't know what this company is, Populus and Gallup study. They asked Americans how they believed society perceived success by the order of importance. So relationship status took the largest portion of the pie. So they said 45% of the people thought relationship status was the first tier of the importance of appearing successful. The next was education, and that was 19%. And it was your income level at 8%. Personal character was 4%.
Wow. This is bad.
Isn't it?
So what you're saying is when they took the study, most people deemed if they had a successful life if they were married. Is that what you're saying?
Your relationship status.
Or if you're in a happy relationship.
So
then 45%,
you're successful. Almost half the people said that's what success looks like, is you were in a relationship, like your relationship status. She says, I bought into and lived out the lie that the American way of success was the only way I could be deemed worthy. She said, have you forgotten where your true worth comes from? The unexpected has a way of stripping us bare. Maybe it's left you without the marriage that you cherished. Maybe it's left you with a field of broken dreams. Maybe your identity was tied to something or someone now lost. So I just the fact that character was the last thing.
Right.
You know, I would always, gosh, I was really surprised because I thought, you know, when you think about what you would perceive as success in someone,
Right.
you know, kind of think of people who are philanthropists. Can't say the word. People who give to others. Never say that word right.
Philanthropist.
I can never say that word correctly. You know, I think about successful people who, Corlin, you brought this up not long ago for a topic, but successful people who give to give and without that agenda, you know, it's just, I think about that. Like that looks like perceived success to me. But I think one of her main points was, you know, we're tying it to something else. Or at least that study made her think, oh, we're tying our worthiness to somebody.
Well, you know, it's not surprising though. I think even as we're raising our little people, often we ask the little kids, what do you want to do when you grow up? We're never asking them, who do you want to be or how do you want to act? We're asking, what is the job you're going to have? And that's going to determine your goals in life instead of who are you going to be? And so we've trained that. And I've been trained in, we've all been trained in by just the things that we find interested in when we're even talking to other people. Just even in normal conversation, our first lines of asking people of like, what do you do? Where do you work? You know, and that's kind of the opening conversation as the most important question.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it depends on the situation. I'm going to go sidebar for a second because I feel like when you're because I was in an airport for 2 hours today, I feel like whenever I'm in an airport, that's the last thing I care about. I think the conversations you have with people you're sitting next to are completely like weird. Today, a girl asked me, I was sitting next to her and she looked at my phone and saw my bird video camera and I told her what a nerd I was. We ended up talking about her boyfriend's kid and how she's going to meet his ex-wife and be a mom and how do you I mean, like stepkids and things like that. Never did career come into play. So anyway, sidebar. I thought that was like, but a lot of times that's the first thing you ask is like, what do you do for a living?
Right.
Yeah, that's
because you kind of then you know what you're up against a little bit or how you should act maybe.
Yeah.
So Jessica, you brought this up, but the first thing was like the myth of the master plan. So culturally, we're kind of pressured to have a 5-year plan. We're pressured to have some sort of plan in our life. I like how they deemed it master plan. My quick story was when I changed, I guess it's been about 2 years now, maybe 2.5. When I went on a different journey with my job, my profession, my plan literally was just to get a raise. I didn't want to change jobs. I didn't want to have a different career, anything. The only thing I had was I'm going to set in motion a plan to get a raise. And it was a big raise. I wanted like double the salary. So I was like, I'm going to set this plan in motion. Little did I know, you know, a year after that, a year and a half after that, I was going to be in a completely new industry, doing something completely different, making, you know, better environment, all that kind of stuff. So it's like your master plan definitely can get derailed. Here's some other things we got when life breaks the script. So these are some of the common off-plan moments: job loss, relationship shifts. You guys brought up both of those things in the first. Health challenges, unexpected opportunities. What else do you guys think what else are some moments in your life you think can kind of like kick you off your script or get your master plan, you know, off?
Even currently, I think of the path that I'm on right now. I did not design this path. I work in philanthropy. And I work in culture development. But my baseline is sales. I've been a salesperson my entire life. And I found myself in this role because I just kept on stepping into and moving towards things I care about. So I started to care a little bit less about the sales piece of it and started caring more about the people aspect of it. So that unexpected change came from a change of heart and a change of desire and a change of passion. And so sometimes it's not a change that happens outside of you. Sometimes I feel like it's an internal change that can kind of, you start reading more, learning more, getting exposed to new ideas. There was at the company, we had this poster on the wall, and I always remember what it said, and it was like a successory type of thing, but it's a mind, what does it say? A mind once stretched by a new idea, it never goes back to its original dimension. So once you get exposed to something, like you sometimes just have to, like, it changes the path that you're going down almost instantly, because you just like need to follow something new, because you just got introduced to something, a new idea.
Yeah, exactly. I always ask Brad, did you ever think a year ago that we would be on an acreage on a river? Either that was not in our plan at all. We were like, oh, we'll maybe look for a place in a year after Sophie graduates from college. And then lo and behold, 6 months ago, it was like, oh, we have an acreage. We have to sell our house. It was like, things pop up. Yeah. What about you, Jessica? Anything else you can think of that was kind of off plan moments that pop up?
There's so many for me. It's almost like, and again, I'm a planner, but I'm also a strong woman of faith. And I think it's because my prayer every single day is, Lord, take me where you want me to be. And those are dangerous words, by the way. They are dangerous words. And I would not suggest anyone say them unless they really mean them. Because when you say them, I think he does just that. And that's kind of where you realize that you're not in control. And for me, being the control freak that I am, it's tricky when you ask that question all the time, because it opens that up. And I just feel like, I don't think that there has been 1 year that has gone by of my entire life that something that wasn't part of the plan has happened that has changed something. Sometimes it's little things, but most of the time it's major things. And it's hard when you're going through it, but it builds resiliency. And it also takes you in places where you're like, if it were up to me, I wouldn't be here, because we get so comfortable in our routines and we get so comfortable in all the things, whether it's in our home or in our job, and we just have it the same way because we're just creatures of habit. And so for me, it's always just asking God to just take me to the places he wants me to be outside of myself, because I know I just sit still and just stay in the same place and hope to continue to grow.
Yeah. That kind of brings us to one of the next things that I found in the book. One thing the first thing I thought of that kind of gets us off the off-plan moment was kids, when you weren't planning to have children. And
don't get me started on that.
So I always say, like, Dylan is 6 months younger than Veronica, and I remember when Veronica was 6 months old, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant again. Wait, what? I don't even already. So, but unexpected, sometimes and that's kind of how this book was first started. It started with a pregnancy and some surprises. So
yeah,
you both kind of brought this up, the psychology of the unexpected, how uncertainty can actually unlock the creativity. It unlocks the resiliency, and it kind of makes you have to make do with what you have. Thinking back, I know that there have been a lot of times I can remember in my own life where I've had to be creative, because I was in a situation where I just had to figure it out. Like, whether it was income related or, where I was living, I just had to figure it out. And that really, I would say, added a lot to my creativity and my resilience.
Absolutely. I'll give you a perfect example. What I just went through, the job loss grief, if you didn't catch those previous episodes, go back.
The last 10 episodes we've done.
Right. And it's a perfect example. What you're going to see in the next 10 years of my life would not have been had I not just experienced what I experienced. Like, it's going to be, and maybe not a completely different path, but it may not have happened, whereas it's going to happen. All the things are going to happen because of what I just went through. Whereas if I didn't go through that, I probably would have just continued to just hang around and just go up that corporate ladder and just stay in that environment because it was good. But that really, really changed my plan and my direction and the speed in which I'm going to get there.
Yeah. What was that phrase that Rachel said about good and great? A good life keeps you from
a great one.
Life. Yeah, that's kind of, it's like, okay, it's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's real. You should say that again for the people in the back. That is right there. And I think I want to know what the stat is for people who really live by that and don't even realize that they do.
Yeah. Well, there's so much fear for change,
Well,
there's
but
status
change
quo.
for what? Like you just said, if it's good, it's good.
It's like, right. It's like status quo. Okay.
There
I'm
you go.
okay. I'm doing good. I'm all right. My income's okay. It's just it's so much more common than someone who will take the leap and accept the change and try to grow from it.
Yeah. There's a challenger. I don't know if you know the challenger sales methodology, but it says that your biggest competitor is not your competitor. Your biggest competitor is status quo. It's real.
Mm-hmm. That concept is, I don't like it at all. Really,
I don't like that, Jessica.
I just don't like it. I've had people say to me about their job, like, I just don't work that hard. And I'm like, what? Like, I want to win every day. I just don't understand not trying your best all the time. But that's what it is. I mean, it's common. It's common.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what to say back to that. But this is like, what we have to do is we have to reframe the unexpected as a gift. So we have to look at the unexpected as a mirror, a compass, a catalyst. Catalyst is probably my favorite thing to expect from this change. Like, an unexpected shift happens. Okay, treat that as a catalyst of, all right, what am I going to do now? This is the starting point, So I want to get a little bit more into how do we shift from why is this happening to me to what is this revealing about me? I think a lot of times, well, with the grief episodes for job loss, I mean, it's hard to lose a job and then not say, get down in the dumps. Like, why did this happen to me? But instead think about, what is this revealing about me? And I think it's important to have some tools, especially when we have that unplanned event that happens. So the book got into this a little bit, and a couple other articles I read also. Some tools, right? We talked about it. Unplanned things happen all the time to everybody. So how are we going to get through it? What tools can we use to get through it? Here are a few, and jump in if there's anything that you want to add to these. But obviously we can talk about them. The first thing, I know you do this, Jessica, is journaling. So the first tool when that unexpected change happens is journaling, writing things down. It might be something as simple as, here's how I felt today, but it could also be a list. Here's what I did today to get towards my next goal.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna do tomorrow to get towards my next goal. Or, I sent out 2 resumes today. That's what I did. Maybe it's just a recap of what you did to get to your next thing.
Yeah.
There's a book that I was introduced to by the owner of our company that he swore by for years and years and years. It was called the Checklist Manifesto. And that's the premise of the book, is just talking about how it is important to make a list for everything, and it goes in, even the example right out of the gate, it talks about when you're flying a plane, like I know how to do. But it's just like the pilot has a 100-item checklist that they have to check all these different things before they even start the plane. And so I think that relates a little bit in terms of when we're planning, we're going through uncertainty, sometimes just to get the things out of your head and on a piece of paper, like these are the things, and then thinking about those things, like, is this what's either causing me stress, or can I move in this area? Like writing it down in a checklist form to just think over those things, and either maybe this is the solution, or if it's not, then check it off. And then you've already thought about that, you're done, let's move on to the next thing, until you've kind of walked through all the things that maybe give you anxiety, cause you stress, occupying your brain space, and just getting it all out and being able to check them off as like, okay, I've thought this through. This is not where I'm finding peace right now.
Yeah. And another area, I've talked to quite a few people that have also been going through grief with loss of family members. And maybe it's, it's funny. The other day I was telling Wills, like, why do I feel like all of a sudden I just know so many people are dying? Like, did it just happen? And he's like, no, you're just old. That's what happens when, you know more people that are dying. But, you know, journaling, when you think of that, this is also an area that I think is very helpful. And I was talking to someone and she was going through a really hard time with grief. And I asked her, have you ever thought about journaling? And not just about, because there was a lot of regret with things that she didn't say. Here's the thing. We know everyone's going to die. So, but it's still unexpected, especially when you didn't expect it to happen that soon. We all have this thought in our head that our parents are going to live to be 100 years old. So I said, why don't you like write her a letter? Like all the things that you wish you would have said, just write it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then another scenario where it was like, write down all those memories. Like I have, people in my life that I've lost. And sometimes I just go down memory lane and I'm just sitting there and I started off feeling really sad and really dark. And then by the time I'm done, I'm like literally cracking up laughing because I just wrote down. One day you guys are going to, if God forbid something happens, you're going to find all these journals and you're like, this is really crazy. She was really crazy. And
we already know.
They're just random thoughts that get me from a little bit of a funk that I just write down things and it just brings me out of it and I'm laughing and I'm feeling good. And that's all I needed to do. So I think it's so underutilized and it's so powerful when you do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's just something anyone can, it's something anyone can do. It's, but just the act, and it's simple. It's one thing.
Right. Yeah.
Then the next tool is ask yourself questions in those moments of upheaval. So just sitting in the moment when you're kind of going crazy a little bit because of this big change and asking yourself a few questions. Mm-hmm. Why do I feel this way right now? What happened right now to make me feel this way? Asking yourself questions of like, what do I need right now? Do I need to go outside and breathe for a minute? Right. Do I need to get out my journal? Do I need to ask for help?
Yeah.
So that's
a hard one.
Sit in that for a minute.
Yeah.
And that kind of gets into the next one a little bit. Stay grounded when everything feels uncertain. Ask for help. So just to say something like that, hey, just stay grounded when everything else seems uncertain. It's kind of a, how do you do that? But that's really where I think asking for help, praying, maybe that's how you ask for help. Staying grounded for me. We talked about this last episode, but I need to be outside. If things are uncertain and I'm just feeling anxious and I'm feeling like I don't know what the heck to do next, if I sit outside and I meditate or I sit outside and I pray, breathe in the fresh air, being in the sunshine, that's something that I know helps me. And everybody's different. Everybody's got a different way to feel grounded. But and if you don't, ask for help. You can ask those people that love you, what do you think? What do you think I need when I'm feeling that way? Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm always surprised at how intuitive the people around me are when they tell me things about me that I'm like, I'm like that?
Yeah.
I do that,
Yeah. And sometimes what I've started doing too, because I do know that I'm such a planner, sometimes it could be a simple to-do list. The other day, I had a whole to-do list and I just scrapped it. And I know that sounds crazy of me to do, but I did that. But doing stuff like that, I think helps because the more of a planner you are, the more it does make it a little harder when things happen that are not in your control because you are so used to everything being planned. So I think I'm trying to make it a habit to know that when I'm feeling a little overwhelmed because of all my tasks it's okay to just scrap it. And that's what I did. And I just scrapped it and I just got in bed and I literally slept all day. Probably won't do that for another year, but I felt good doing it. And I was like, okay, the day didn't go as planned. I scrapped my plan. That's okay. So it kind of gets your brain used to not doing things as planned.
And it's okay. I think the word pivot is like right in there sometimes. Yeah. We like to that.
Yeah, but it's like good practice. Okay. It's good practice because sometimes it's not going to be in your control. So I'd rather every now and then put myself in a situation where I'm practicing and it is in my control to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. The next two kind of go together. Work on building a flexible identity instead of a fixed one. Identity is discovered, not designed. So keeping in mind that your identity's fluid. You don't just have this one identity and trying hard not to tie it to one thing. It isn't one thing. Your identity isn't just your husband. Your identity isn't just your job. Your identity isn't just you being a mother.
Right.
You guys know this about me. When my 2 daughters went off to college, I had an identity crisis because I was like, who am I if I'm not the mom to these 2 kids? They're off doing their life. And I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I truly had to go see a counselor because I had a crisis of my identity because I had so much tied into that. But we're flexible. Corlin, did you have something to say? I feel like you were like on the cusp of like, and I looked at you and then you went,
I was just trying to be my polite and be like Minnesota nice person over here.
No.
What I was going to say is what it made me think of is that we talk about our identity being family, moms, career. But I also think what kind of resonated with me was the conversation that we had several weeks ago when we had our friends on that were going through choosing a life of sobriety, and how that changed their perspective on life in terms of them identifying themselves as, I'm the life of the party, I drink, I do these things. And for those of our listeners that are walking through that path of trying to make a better choice and do things differently, starting to work out more and make healthy habits, like I'm sharing that and just saying like, you might have had an unexpected hiccup in your health and now you've been forced, like Jamie, you had said that you were talked about like you were trying to lower your blood pressure, and all of a sudden you need to eat differently, or you need to start doing some things differently. Like now you, in a positive way, can give yourself a new identity. Like, I am a person that cares about my health. I am a person. For me, I've been trying to tell myself I'm a person that likes to go to bed early. I always stay up late. I end up burning the candle at both ends and giving myself the permission to say, yes, I went to bed the other night, Saturday night, like 2 days ago, literally went to bed at 9:00. We had some people over and my husband was playing games and watching TV with his buddies, and I was up hanging out with them, and I'm like falling asleep. I'm like, I went upstairs to go let the dog out, and then I saw my bed and I just walked to it and I went to bed, and I looked at it and I thought it was midnight and it was 9:00. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to bed. Good for
best
you.
night ever.
Which I know that was a big win for me.
You know what's funny? I stayed up till 11. So what the heck?
Wow, you party animal.
Brad actually said go to bed. I can't believe you're still awake at 11 o'clock. Like, who are you? That's funny. I love that. The next two kind of go together as well. Embrace unexpected events. Unexpected events reveal hidden strengths.
Yes.
Learn to trust your adaptability. Another word I have trouble saying. The unexpected events really do reveal the hidden strengths that you have. And just trusting in yourself that you can adapt and that you have hidden strengths. You can adapt. You can learn to change. You can learn to accept whatever this new life is that this change made happen. You can do that. You don't have to always stay in the same rut. You don't have to stay with the same company. You don't have to stay with the same job. You can adapt and change. And that, Jessica, like you said, that's where that resiliency comes in. And that's where the creativity comes in. Being able to take whatever that change that got you off track, that's okay. Embrace it. Figure out what your hidden strengths were. Maybe those weren't being utilized when you were status quo.
Yeah. I never in a million years thought I'd be in the automotive industry. Like, seriously, am I a car girl? No, not at all. Here I am 9 years later in the automotive industry. It's a perfect example.
Right? Same. Did I ever think I'd be building pre-engineered metal buildings ever?
Or elevators?
Right.
Oh, who are we?
The other thing when you sent over this topic to think about today, what really kind of resonated with me, and this is a double whammy of Brene Brown, but I also read her other book, Daring Greatly, and it talks about how you if consistently choosing courage over comfort, especially when life is uncertain. And I read that book several years ago, but it always in that book, she quotes Theodore Roosevelt, and it's like the quote is the man in the arena. And I actually printed it out or got a poster of it and I put it in my son's bathroom so he could look at this. And like basically it talks about it goes like it's not the critic that counts, it's or who points out how the strong man stumbled. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. So it's just talking about this person. And if you've never heard the quote, you should look it up. I won't read the whole thing, but it's just reminding ourselves that even through uncertainty, take the brave step, like be the thing and be proud of yourself for even showing up and trying, even though you might fail, things might not happen exactly the way that you want. That don't accept any criticism from somebody who's not in the arena with you if they're standing on the sidelines, and I think that, us as females talking to our children, it all applies all the way around. I think like our boys and our girls that are trying to grow up, I mean, everything that they do is a new adventure. And if they don't develop this ability to try things out and potentially fail, then we're all going to miss out on a lot of life if we can't take a step into uncertainty.
Yeah. Cora, that's a whole nother, I feel like that's a episode that needs to be had, because I just want to jump in that one. I'm not going to do that. We'll be here all night, but we talk about this in our home all the time. The comfort that everybody wants to just be comfortable. And I think these last, even 10 years for me, now I'm intentionally looking for opportunities to be uncomfortable so that I can be more comfortable being uncomfortable, because life is showing me that it's going to put me there, whether I want to be there or not. So I'm thinking like, I want to be well trained because this is what I'm doing. Obviously, this is after almost 50 years. This is obviously what I'm doing with my life. I think that's another opportunity for a whole nother discussion on being
Stay tuned for that episode.
Please. Exactly. That's a good, actually a good wrap up for really the last tool, which is embrace the version of yourself that emerges from that challenge. Mm-hmm. So just recognizing.
Did you both get a vision of a butterfly coming out of a cocoon or something?
Cocoon is gone and my wings are drying.
Right.
So just to recap those tools, just so we've got those in our brain, these are practical tools that we can use to navigate all those moments after we've had this unplanned change in our life. Journaling, asking yourself questions when you're right in that moment of upheaval, trying to stay grounded when everything feels uncertain. And when that happens, and if you don't know how, ask for help. Work on building a flexible identity instead of a fixed one. Just remember, your identity is discovered. It's not designed. It's fluid. Embrace unexpected events to reveal hidden strengths, and just trust that you are adaptable. You can change. And then embrace that vision of yourself that emerges from the challenge.
I love it.
I have one other quote I wanted to read that was from Tara Brach, and it says, "We wait for things to be different in order to feel okay with life. As long as we keep attaching our happiness to the external events in our lives, which are ever changing, we'll always be left waiting for it." And it just really got me thinking about that word, attaching ourselves to something external.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When our identity is fluid, we're our own person. We can make changes in our identity and our goals. We can make changes in the kind of person that we are all the time.
Yeah.
Any last takeaways, guys?
Well, I think that I'm going to encourage people to do, and I'm going to do this more. Like I said, I scrapped my to-do list the other day, and that is, I make the same cup of coffee every morning. I leave at the exact same time, by the way, because when I say we're leaving at this, like all of those things, do something different this week, right? Like
that's good.
I don't care if it's change up your coffee, be intentional and do something that you don't normally do that is off your normal pattern this week. That's my takeaway. That's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be uncomfortable because I like what I do, because everything I do makes sense. So I'm going to change it up.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I'm going to do that too.
Yeah. And I would just encourage people, what I resonated with is this whole adaptability. Change is going to happen. Uncertainty is going to come across. But the more we navigate life, the more I trust myself to get through it. I might not know exactly where we're going or where we're going to land, but I do know that through all the different challenges that I've been through, I've 100% always gotten through all of them. So it's trusting myself and trusting the process that I can do that. And the more that you trust yourself, I feel like sometimes the faster you get through, or the stronger you come through. So
yeah, I agree. Thanks, guys. Well, that was good. That was awesome. If you haven't read the book, it's a really good book. It's very faith-based. The Gift of the Unexpected.
Who's the author?
I'd recommend it. Thanks. Don't have the book on me. I didn't write it down.
Just kidding. Google it.
Can you okay, well, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks, everybody, for being with us tonight. Again, you can listen to our episodes on all of the different platforms. You can watch us on YouTube, Lead Like a Girl Lab, and you can also see us on our website. You can get right to our episodes on our website, Lead Like a Lab. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.